so much can change in the course of a season, and certainly that's what we've seen at 133 pounds of weight, where coming into it, maybe one of the bigger locks to win a title on paper in the preseason was Cornell's Vito Arujau. We just watched him beat Dayton Fix and Roman Bravo Young convincingly at the NCAA tournament last year. Then he goes on to make the world team. Then he goes on to win a world title. And so the thought of him not being able to win an NCAA title the next year was sort of, I mean, how could you even fabricate that? Why would you even think that's possible? But what we've seen this year has certainly surprised many wrestling fans. And now we're looking at a weight where Vito's not the favorite. In fact, Vito Arujau, the world champion, is the 6th seed. And so going to get into who I think is going to win the title, who's going to place the big sleepers, the round of 12 matches, my place winners 1 through 8. But I'll start at the top, and I think I'm going to stick with my pick a month or so ago. Dayton Fix. He's my pick to win a title at NCAAs this year. And I think a combination of things really set up well for Dayton. One, he earned the 1 seed, and in this scenario, I think it's a great path for him to make the final. He wasn't able to make the final last year. He's made it 3 times previously, and he had lost to Nick Soriano and Roman Bravo Young twice in the NCAA finals. Now, I think he's got a great path to make the finals again. And looking opposite, it's Ryan Crookham. It could be Vito Arujau, Kai Orini. Really, these are the, in my opinion, the guys that are the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th most sort of proven guys in the weight class, and they happen to be all opposite of Dayton Fix. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the details, the draws. What does it look like for Dayton Fix to make the final? We'll get into Aaron Nagau's path, Ryan Crookham, Kai Orini, Vito Arujau, so on and so forth, how I see this weight playing out. But for Dayton Fix, I think he's gonna have Nick Bouzakis or Braxton Brown in his 2nd match. I think that's Bouzakis is interesting because he's so powerful, but I think Dayton Fix is going to be able to win that match. And then Evan Frost, a familiar opponent for Dayton Fix, someone that he's been able to beat on 2 occasions now. I think he's going to beat him a 3rd time, even though I really like Evan Frost, and we'll get into his path and why I think he could be potentially an All-American this year. Now, it could be that he sees Dom Serrano. It could be that he sees Julian Klebov in reality. I think Julian is someone that you should not sleep on, beating Dom Serrano and Evan Frost and making that quarter against Dayton. Don't rule that out. I think that's possible. Julian may be the what? He's the 24. He's tough. He's kind of gritty in a lot of different positions, and I think, Dom Serrano, he's good, but is he really the 9? Maybe not in my mind. And then Evan Frost, he's still a freshman, right? And Julian's been around the block a time or two. So for that reason, don't sleep on him, but I played it a little straighter than that, and I have Frost losing to Dayton. Looking at that second half of the top half, or the middle quarter there, you got Dylan Ragusin versus Kolioko, round 1. Man, that is a tough matchup for the 5 seed Ragusin. Kolioko's tough. Now, he has not had the season many of us predicted, but Kolioko from Penn, still a tough out. Sam Latona, I think, will be Ragusin's round 2 opponent. I think Ragusin gets by Sam, who's not had the season that I thought he'd have. He's the 12 seed. I think coming in this year, he seemed like a top 5, 6 sort of lock guy. He hasn't been that this year. Maybe he can turn it around. Dylan Shaver also looming in that quarter. I think it's going to be a 4-5 quarterfinal. I think it's going to be Shaver versus Ragusin, a Big Ten Finals rematch where we saw Dylan Shaver go beast mode, teching Dylan Ragusin, which is surprising on its own, but even more surprising when you consider that Shaver lost to Ragusin twice in the season. This year, crazy things happen in the sport, and while I do not think it's going to be a blowout match, I think it's going to be really tight once again. And when Shaver put Ragusin on his back, I think Kozak pointed this out, that changed everything, right? And from that point on, Ragusin could never get back together, and it spiraled out of control. I think it's going to be a more controlled match. I have Shaver winning it still. I've kind of gone back and forth on this one, but what I've seen from Dylan, really impressive. I think this is an absolute coin flip match. Don't let that tech fall confuse you at all. If you think Ragusin can win this quarter, I'm not surprised at all. But I think both of them lose to Dayton Fix, and Dayton makes the finals. Look at the bottom half. Vito Arujau, I told you he's the 6, so what's his path look like? It's pretty good to the quarter. I think it's pretty clear he's going to make that quarterfinal round where he'll likely face Kai Orini. But I have my little red circle here on Kai Orini's 2nd round match against Jacob Van D. For a 3 seed, Van D is a tough 14 seed. We've seen this guy battle in a lot of different matches. He's been right there with some of the best, and he's beaten some good wrestlers this year. So don't sleep on Van D. I think he's tough. I think that's not a throwaway match for Kai Orini. I have Kai winning that match, but if you want one on your radar, if you're looking for an upset special at 133, Van D over Orini, 14/3, could happen. But I have Orini winning that match, setting up a Vito Orini quarterfinal. I'm going with Vito. But there's no doubt in my mind Kai can win this match. It's going to be close. Kai's a really good athlete. He can wrestle upper body. I don't think the mat will be too much of a factor here. It's going to be a neutral battle. And for as, I'll say limited or as far removed from the last year Vito that we're seeing right now, he's still absolutely elite on his feet. And I think he gets the takedown. He might need 2 to beat Orini, but I think he's going to be able to knock off Kai. But that said, if Kai wins this match, no one's surprised one bit. Looking down below, I've got Aaron Nagao in the second round taking out Nasir Bailey. Bailey's had a really good season. Both these guys really tough from the top position, but Nagao, he's a guy who's done